Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And sometimes I feel silly asking you about Conor McGregor, but he is right there. He is, and you're still in the title picture, so why would you be thinking about Conor McGregor? But it would be a really fun fight. I know you've wanted it in the past, so
yeah, it'd be a fun fight. I mean, getting one back against everybody who got one over me would be awesome. So, yeah, thank you.
I don't think he can make 55. I don't think he wants to, but we can fight whatever weight he wants. I want to get down back. It'd be a fun fight, I think. Conor's not gonna shoot. I hope so, not. But never say never.
Conor McGregor is in a very unique spot because of the success that he has previously had. We are questioning how good is Conor today. We're questioning how good can he be today. He's coming off a catastrophic injury. Many people forget that. His leg is broken in two. He then does 6 years on the shelf. So we question how good he is, but we've got to operate under the assumption that he's pretty damn good, considering he won an interim and undisputed and went 30 minutes with Floyd. Like, we have to assume, based on what he's done before.
Whoa!
I mean, did he just say like the Conor and the Gary, both of them?
Conor and Gary fight.
But he did say Conor Gary fight. Yeah.
Yes, which is an amazing fight.
If they did actually Conor and dude, that'd be insane. But didn't he just say? Could it not be?
He said he didn't say Conor and Gary. He said Conor Gary.
I know, but if he's just talking like the Conor,
I don't know, dude. He said the Conor Gary fight. He didn't say Conor and Gary won't fight in Ireland. He said the Conor Gary fight won't happen in Ireland.
If that was a slip, then that's an actual real slip.
Love it.
If that's legit. So hopefully that is the actual Conor fight. That would be freaking.
That's why they're not calling him, huh?
Yeah. And then this also appeared too.
Ooh, it's all lining up, y'all.
Conor McGregor officially cleared for UFC return after completing 18-month ban.
Let's go.
So I mean, it's heading in that direction.
Max Holloway just called out Conor McGregor, and something has completely shifted. The Notorious one isn't just responding with social media posts or cryptic messages. He's actually back in the gym, moving like the old Conor, training with an intensity we haven't seen since his championship days. Sources close to his camp are saying this is different. This isn't another comeback announcement that fizzles out. McGregor is legitimately preparing for a summer return, and the wheels are already in motion behind the scenes at the UFC.
5 is looking really busy at the top, so we'll see what happens. I don't know what guys they want to send my way, but like I said, man, before the fight I was talking about it. I mean, Conor's there, Conor got one over me. He's talking about coming back. I'm coming off a loss. I mean, it looked pretty fun to get down back, with him. So we see what happens. I know a lot of people are worried about the weight and this and that, but if he doesn't want to cut weight, then I don't want to cut weight. We can do it at any weight, to be honest. It's just about getting it back, So at the end of the day, that'll be a fun fight, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what way UFC wants to go, and that's all we can do, Like I said, I got a bunch of things that I need to talk to my team, my family members, with my doctors too. So we're figuring all that out. But hey, man, sign me up, man. If 55 is kind of busy right now, we don't know who to pit. I know Conor keep talking about coming back. That'd be a fun fight, That fight really excites me, and weight wouldn't be.
But here's where it gets interesting. Holloway didn't just throw out a random call-out for clout. This came right after his devastating loss to Charles, when most fighters would be licking their wounds and talking about taking time off. Instead, Max looked directly into the camera and made it clear he wants McGregor next. And you know what's wild? He said he'd fight Conor anywhere at any weight without cutting down to featherweight. That's not desperation talking. That's a man who's been carrying something personal for years, waiting for the right moment to settle old business. Remember, these two have history from when Conor was tearing through the featherweight division, and Holloway has been building toward this moment ever since.
Max is a very smart guy. All the talk was, oh, you lost the belt. Charles isn't getting that Conor fight after that fight. I don't even think Conor wants a BMF title. I think Max is trying to tell us something there. And I would put him with Nate out. It feels to me like he's trying to tell us, like, this is what I want. And I don't think he's talking if things aren't happening behind the scenes. And so that's what I feel by reading all of this. But as PT said, and as I said, these talks are going well. And I think they're going well because the UFC recognizes, hey, we need to make this happen. And we'll get into the John Jones stuff in a second as well. But I feel like we're trending in the right direction to that return, and this will feel like, what will it feel like? What's the perfect example for feeling good about life? Like it'll feel like what? Like what is it?
Now listen to this part. Ariel Helwani broke down exactly what's happening behind the scenes, and it's genius-level matchmaking psychology. Holloway isn't just randomly calling out McGregor on social media like every other fighter trying to get attention. He's being strategic about it. Max is dropping hints, planting seeds, letting the UFC brass know what he wants without making demands that could backfire. Helwani explained that this approach is working because it gives the promotion room to make the fight feel organic instead of forced. And here's the kicker, talks are already moving in the right direction. The UFC knows this fight would be massive, and they're positioning pieces to make it happen. This isn't just another bout on the calendar. This would be the kind of moment that reminds everyone why McGregor became the biggest star in combat sports.
I feel like we've been kind of talking about it, but I think the significant reality is, let's say Conor McGregor is coming back in July. That is fantastic for the UFC, no doubt in my mind. But I think the bigger issue, rather than card construction, rather than who's headlining, is ticket prices.
Oh, yeah.
The prices of these cards are not commensurate with what they're delivering. And I don't think you can solve that just... The Conor McGregor ticket prices are going to be astronomical. And the UFC is going to try to capitalize on Conor McGregor's return in a way that is pricing out fans who just want to come and watch UFC events, want to come and watch these fights. I don't think that the problem was necessarily that, like, people didn't want to show out for Lerone Murphy or MVP or anybody else who was on this card. The problem is that they were too expensive for the people that truly wanted to go. And I don't think this is a new thing for the UFC. I'm talking to people who are in this local area, who I know very well, who are interested in going to the New Jersey card, and the ticket prices are too high for them to go. I don't know if just stacking the deck.
It's a WWE problem too. I'm hearing about this in WWE, right? With WrestleMania tickets and whatnot. People are complaining about this, so.
But hold up. There's a major problem nobody's talking about, and it could kill this entire comeback before it even starts. When industry insiders appeared on Helwani's show, they dropped a bombshell about what's really holding back these mega fights. It's not the matchmaking. It's not fighter availability. It's ticket prices. They're so astronomical now that the fans who made McGregor a superstar can't even afford to see him fight live anymore. We're talking about regular tickets hitting 4 figures, and that's before you even get to the good seats. The panel made it clear this has been building for years, and even stacking cards with names like Leon Edwards or Michael Venom Page can't solve the fundamental problem. The UFC has priced out their core audience, and that's creating a disconnect between the excitement these fights generate and who can actually experience them in person.
Is coming back. Guys, I'm very confident of this. I spoke to Conor myself. Adi Atara went and had a meeting, a face-to-face sit-down with the UFC, because it got to the point where Conor's side is saying, hey, do you guys not think we're serious? Or is it you guys aren't serious? There's a little confusion here over the telephone. Let's talk, right? Conor's coming back. I think it's important that you understand up front, not just that Conor's not going to fight Michael Chandler, but why Conor's not going to fight Michael Chandler. Now, look, the UFC has a brand promise. And like any great company, they will stick to that promise in good times and in bad. When you're selling out arenas, when COVID hits and you can't do it in front of everybody, you got to stick to that promise. And the UFC does. Now, how does that pertain to Conor? Conor McGregor is in a very unique spot because of the success that he has previously had. We are questioning how good is...
Here's where everything gets real, though. Chael Sonnen just confirmed what we've all been wondering about. McGregor's comeback is legitimately happening, and he's got inside information to prove it. Sonnen revealed he's spoken directly with Conor, and this isn't the same guy who's been making promises for the last 2 years. The seriousness is different. The commitment is there. But get this, while everyone assumed Michael Chandler would be the opponent, that's completely off the table now. It's not because McGregor is ducking anyone. It's because the UFC is being strategic about protecting their brand and delivering fights that make sense. And here's what people don't realize, Conor is still dealing with the aftermath of that horrific leg injury against Dustin Poirier. That wasn't just a broken bone. That was career-threatening damage that most fighters never come back from. This return isn't just about money or relevance. It's about proving he can still compete at the highest level after an injury that would have ended most careers.
So if we're going to stick to the brand promise and we're going to bring in Conor McGregor, who we identify as very good, and by the way, we do know to be a main eventer. We know that we're going to put him in a main event. Then we must put him. And basically, you could choose, by the way, guys, I'm going to say 1 through 6. You could even go 1 through 8. Pick anybody you want to do. Della Lena makes a lot of sense. I think that Ian Gary was more than a Freudian slip. I think that there's some real traction and some real legs to that. I don't think the idea of Islam and title fights is going to happen. I don't believe that Max is going to bump up and we're going to pay one off for history's sake. I think Conor is likely to be put into a spot, and I'll use Anderson Silva as a great example, who is the best fighter in the world, the champion of the world, had the exact same catastrophic leg injury, attempted to make a comeback. And it was an interesting position because Anderson was great, and Anderson had the rankings, and he had the name, he had the media, and he was a main event guy. But he wasn't a main event pay-per-view guy. Because those are...
And get this, the UFC is guaranteeing McGregor a main event spot, no questions asked. Sonnen broke down the business reality behind this decision, and it's fascinating. While fans speculate about dream matchups and title shots, the promotion is thinking about maximum impact within their existing framework. They're not going to bend their entire division structure around one fighter, even if it's McGregor. But they will position him for the biggest possible return that fits their long-term plans. That means no immediate title shots, but it also means no throwaway opponents. They need someone who can deliver a compelling fight while setting up bigger things down the road. Now here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Dana White may have accidentally revealed McGregor's actual opponent during a recent interview, and it's not who anyone expected. When discussing potential matchups, Dana mentioned Ian Gary almost like it was already decided, then quickly moved on like he hadn't said anything significant. But Sonnen caught it, and he's convinced this wasn't a slip of the tongue. Behind the scenes, McGregor has made it clear he wants to fight at welterweight, staying at his natural size instead of killing himself to make lightweight. The UFC even offered him a bout with Colby Covington, fully expecting him to turn it down because of the wrestling threat. But Conor shocked everyone by accepting immediately, proving he's not looking for easy fights or favorable matchups. He's ready to face anyone at 170 pounds, and that changes everything about how we should view this comeback. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Michael Bisping just explained why McGregor-Diaz trilogy would break every pay-per-view record in UFC history, and his reasoning is absolutely bulletproof. He reminded everyone that their first fight was one of the biggest upsets ever, Nate Diaz choking out the seemingly unstoppable McGregor when Conor was at his absolute peak. Then the rematch was even more intense, with McGregor getting his revenge but nearly getting finished again in the later rounds. Bisping emphasized that these weren't just fights, they were wars that showcased everything people love about MMA. The striking exchanges, the heart, the drama, the back-and-forth action that had fans on their feet. These bouts generated more mainstream attention than almost any fights in UFC history, proving that when McGregor faces the right opponent, it transcends the sport itself. Here's what's really fascinating, though. Kamaru Usman weighed in on who should actually get the McGregor fight, and his pick surprised everyone. He's pushing hard for Colby Covington, explaining that Colby has shown the exact kind of growth and dedication that deserves a career-defining opportunity. Usman praised how Covington went back to the drawing board after losses, improved his game, and came back stronger each time. While most of the MMA world was focused on the Michael Chandler fight that never materialized, Usman sees Covington as someone who could not only challenge McGregor, but benefit massively from sharing the octagon with the biggest star in the sport. It's not just about giving Colby a payday. It's about proving himself on the biggest possible stage against a legend. The speculation reached fever pitch when Brendan Schaub and his panel dissected Dana White's comments about Ian Gary, and they're convinced something big is brewing. They analyzed every word of Dana's statement, trying to figure out if it was an accidental reveal or a calculated hint to build anticipation. But here's what everyone agrees on. McGregor is officially cleared to return after completing his mandatory suspension, and everything is pointing toward a summer comeback. The timing makes perfect sense.